Okay, so hello. Here we have QTMU on the left hand side here, and this is going to make us our virtual machine. So what we're going to do is click create new virtual machine, go to Windows 2000 is the operating system I'm going to try for this. So over on the right hand side here you can see this window here is my Moto G3 remotely viewing the screen over USB cable, which I thought was quite cool. So this is Emulator, the software that's going to be in the description. So we'll just select Windows 2000 here because I've got a bit of an idea. It might be a little smaller than Windows XP will. So we're going to just select default, and then we're going to make our disk 3.2, no, it's not going to work, is it? 3.25 gig, because the maximum we can have on Android is, I believe, 4 gigs. So we could make it maybe 3.5, but just for safety, in case it comes out, just that'll do. So we go finish, image created. So we select CD-ROM, boot from CD-ROM, select this, we go into my computer here, C drive, and then we've got Winlight ISO there. So don't need to do anything else, but I am gonna do this, which just leave it default, whatever. We won't enable seamless mouse just in case it causes any glitches. Memory, we'll give it its max because it's running on PC right now. Doesn't really matter if we change it later. So that is it. When we click start now, there we go. We've got to wait for Windows 2000 setup. It looks like the normal setup, but this is a lightened version of Windows 2000, so it should be even smaller than the default, which has got to be smaller than Windows XP. Everything should work still just about on Windows 2000 pretty much. Should be more stable if you ask me than Windows XP was. It's quite stable in the end, but we're looking for disk space, not 5 million patches put on Windows XP. So this shouldn't take too long. Hopefully we don't get asked for any product keys along the way. So what this is doing is installing Windows 2000 Professional V-Lite, whatever it's called, into an 3.25 gig image file, which is going to be copied to our Android phone and run on the phone on the right, as you can see it. What I might do is just cut the video there and we'll come back when it's all installed. I'm sure no one really wants to see the default installation of Windows 2000. Okay, so it's just rebooted. So it's coming around, look at this, refurbished and what's refreshed and polished by Chango. Huh. I've never used this before, but why is a sad Mac come up on my face? On a sad face come up on my screen? Huh. I think it must have lost the USB connection. My phone's really hot. And here we are installing devices at last. It's just taking ages and ages and ages. Still going. How long is this gonna take? Really? Okay, so this has been going up because I locked the mouse cursor in there, but it is taking a long time to do anything. So I'm just going to leave it going and we'll come back in a second when it's actually done. I'm seeing movement! It's going! Okay, so it's like 10 minutes later, it's still installing, so it's taking a seriously long time. So what I might do is once this is installed, I might upload this to the cloud somewhere so people can download it and put a link in the description so people don't have to go through the same that I did. So yeah, check the description and there should be a link there. And anyone in the comments there that's saying that, oh, it's piracy, I really don't think Microsoft care about Windows 2000. I think if anything they'd say, well, that's kind of cool. I don't think anyone's going to get sued over pirating Windows 2000 now, so yeah, just to get that covered. But let's just hope that it boots a little quicker than it's been installing, because this is taking a long time. I'm not sure if maybe it's just because it's a modified version of Windows 2000, it's just the setup is just taking ages, just where it's been hacked to smithereens. So yeah, hopefully it boots up a little quicker, but we'll see. Okay, so that really didn't work. It's now 9:45. I've only just stopped it. It's like 2 hours ago I started it. So what I've done is delete that virtual machine, create a new one with exactly the same specs, 3.25 gig hard drive, 1 gig of RAM. We've got an XP Lite CD mounted as the CD-ROM. So here we go. Brilliant, not a bootable disk. So tick that and then try that one again. So with a bit of luck, this is going to be a bit quicker than the Windows 2000 setup, which got right to the end of the bit you see and then just sat there and wasn't doing anything at all, didn't look like it was doing anything, so I just closed it and deleted it. We'll start this one on Windows XP and hope this goes a bit better and it leaves us with enough disk space on the 3.25 gig image that we've created. So looks like it's loading Windows now, Windows setup anyway. So we'll create a partition here, install, format using the NTFS quick. So this is just going to go through the standard Windows setup now. So this is just loading into Windows XP now, into the graphical part of setup. Hasn't taken that long, as you can probably see by the time on the right hand side here on my phone. Thought it froze up then, but no, which is good. Okay, so here we go. Oh, restarting. Don't want to boot from CD. Boot straight from hard drive, there we go. This doesn't look like the normal Windows setup. It's obviously been modified to make it lighter. This is the driver packs that are installing now. So what we'll do is we'll cut here and we'll come back once this is all done. So this has just got into the Windows XP setup. As you can see, we're not sure how far this is through. Hopefully we haven't got too much longer to wait. So this is exactly the same screen that we were on Windows 2000 that took 2 hours to get to the end and then not do anything. So with a bit of luck, this isn't going to sit here for 2 hours. It's well, it's 2 years newer than the Windows 2000 setup, roughly 3 years. So hopefully they've made it work since then. So we'll see how long this takes. Okay, so this is just booting up from its first reboot after installing. So hopefully this should be going in setting the screen resolution, but I'm going to tell it not to do that, because we'll let that do that on Android. So we just wait for this to apply computer settings. Always takes a little while to boot into XP for the first time. So here we go. So what I'm going to do for the first thing is turn off this theme and just put it back to classic, just because once it's running on the phone we want to free up any system resources we can. Come on. There we go. Right, so we'll just put this to Windows Classic, apply that. Hit OK, that should make it run a little bit quicker. Oh, 982 meg disk space remaining. That isn't fantastic. Just see. See if there's anything we can free up in here. So we've got 2 gig used. Where does it put all the space? .2 gig used, so Huh. Hmm. Huh. I think I know where it is. No, we need to enable this one. Disable this one. Yep. Okay. So here we are. This is probably where it's. Or I could be wrong. Yeah, 1.5 gig. So page file. So the page file is always set at 1.5 times the disk space. So if we go into properties, I'm sure this is going to be manually defined by Windows. I mean, 982 meg is nearly a gig, so it's not too bad for a few applications on. I don't want to go messing around with the page file because I want things to work, but if you do want to, go into advanced and then performance settings, and if we just put that for best performance as well, and go to advanced and change the paging size here. So if we put that to we'll put that to a gig, click set, OK, OK, and we'll just close out of that. We won't reboot for now. But if we go back into my computer, C drive, oh yeah, we need to restart the computer before, so we'll do that now. Might as well. Let it boot from hard drive. And we're back at the desktop. So now we'll ignore that for now. If we look at C drive, 1.45 gig remaining. So that's a little bit better. Okay, so let's find some software now to install. Okay, so here I've got the shareware version of Doom 95, which I'm going to put into an ISO file, which I'm going to make with, this is just the shareware version of WinISO. So I'm going to drag that across to there. It's going to extract that and dump it into an ISO file, which I save and then mount as a CD in QTMU. So we'll just wait for this quick, it shouldn't take too long. It's only 69 meg. So that's dumped that in there, so we'll just save that. Then we'll save that to desktop as Doom 98, 95. So that's done. So we'll just open that now. Oh, where are we going? Desktop, Doom 95. So hopefully we should see that change in here. It's still got the same CD, which is interesting. So I think we'll have to turn it off and on again. Which is a little bit annoying. One of the quirks of QTMU, I suppose. It's just bug. Doesn't switch disk. But we'll start this back up. Or not. So yeah, we'll untick that and then start it up. And there we go, it's going to start up Windows XP now. In your own time. There we go. So if we go into my computer now, yeah, we've got that new volume ISO there. And we'll do the installation. Huh. Well, who knows if that's going to work or not. Huh. Well, that's interesting. It's working, but clearly there's something wrong with the graphics there. So we'll just see if we can change that somehow. It's got to be... No? Put it in window maybe? Huh, and it still goes in full screen anyway. Oh, I was hoping that might have actually worked. I'm sure there is probably a fix for it. Maybe 640 by 480. No. It works, it just looks really weird. We've already disabled visual themes anyway, so well, that's helpful. We can't press the OK button. And it's still doing it. So not sure what's going on there. Who knows, it might work when we load it on the phone. There might be a fix for it, but I don't really care enough to try and work it out. So what I'm going to do is, I've got a software demo disk from Windows 95. I'm going to load a few more bits of software on in a second once that's downloaded, and we'll see if we have any more joy with them. So that demo disk is still downloading, so what I've got instead is a Windows XP game. It's Pac-Man, or Deluxe Pac-Man 2, so I put that into an ISO in exactly the same way as I just did with Doom 95. So we'll just start the installation of this. This runs on Windows XP and above. Just try some basic games out. In that. Huh. Not sure what's happening here. Huh. Really didn't like that. So I'm not sure if maybe we run that in that. No. That's just weird. It's like it's trying to change the resolution, it can't, so it just freaks out. Yeah, so okay, that doesn't work either. So let's try something else. Alright, so let's try and install Firefox, see how that goes. This is the full offline installer because I'm not entirely sure if I've got internet access on this XP virtual machine. We'll soon find out after this is installed. The fact it's sitting at 0% says if I was going to say if it actually installs, but it is. So this is just loading up Firefox for the first time, apparently. I just know if I click the Firefox icon it's going to load up twice. But what the hey, let's do it anyway. But if I look at Task Manager, it's got it there twice. Oh no, once. Where is it then? It's doing something. There we go, and there is it twice. So it's not particularly liking running Firefox. We'll just end it anyway. Aha, we've got pinball. Okay, so this works, alright. Wish I could remember what the controls were. Thought it was shift. Oh, there's one. And there's the other, right, so there we go. And I'm rubbish at it, but you get the idea. That works on the PC. Firefox is there, but doesn't have internet. Really doesn't like running Firefox. Sure, there's a slimmer browser I could put on here, but I'm blowed if I can remember its name. So that's working anyway. So what we'll do is I'll check if my last bit of software I wanted to try out is finished downloading now. If it is, we'll try that and then we'll copy this over. Okay, so we appear to have got Quake shareware working. Although at the moment that only appears. Are we going to get any further than this? Wouldn't appear so. Okay, I was actually wrong on that one. Quake is actually working. So that's good, we'll leave that on there. And now we get this copied over to the phone. So to find where the virtual machines are kept, if you go into, this is Windows 10 obviously, but if you go into your user profile folder, then you've got a folder called My Machines, then go into Windows XP, and that's the disk image file you need to copy over to your phone. So let's get that done. So now I'm copying that IMG file straight from the folder that I showed you. In your user profile, in the My Machines folder in Windows XP, you've got this Windows XP disk image file. Copy that over to your SD card, internal storage, into the SDL folder. If you don't have a folder called SDL, just create one in the main root of it, just called SDL in capital letters, as you can see there, and then copy in that image file. So this will take quite a while, so we'll come back when this is done. So now we're on the phone. Now what I should have done is renamed the IMG file to c.img. So if we do that here, c.img, okay, rename successful. So now we can start up Box, and it's loading our IMG file. Links for everything will be in the description so you can download it. Is this going to work? And there we go, Windows XP. So here we go, we're looking at Windows XP Desktop. If I try and click on the start button, obviously if you've got like a Galaxy S7 or something with a faster single core speed, you're going to be able to get much more speed out of this than I can. This is only clocks at I think 1.33 GHz for the Moto G3 per core, and obviously we're only using one core, so it's only going to be 1.33 GHz. So if you've got like a Galaxy S7 with 2.5, 2.7 GHz, something like that, you're going to be, it's going to run a lot faster than this. So bear that in mind with what phone you're trying to run it on. If it's slower than a Moto G, obviously you're going to get slower performance. So let's tap on that start menu again. It's complaining about display settings. See if we can do something about that. Annoyingly doesn't seem to be letting me click on the start button for some reason. So box isn't great, so what I'm going to do now is switch over quickly to Limbo PC Emulator. We'll see how that goes. So here we are in Limbo. I'm going to go to New. We'll call it XP2. So I've already got an XP machine there. So we'll create that. We'll leave everything at default apart from RAM. We'll fire up to whatever, I don't reckon, about 576, 512 plus 64. We'll go down to hard disk A and we'll choose open. Obviously we're in storage emulated 0 SDL, basically the SDL folder on the root of the SD card. We'll choose this C.IMG. Oh. See, we've got network configuration. We'll try tap. Your device doesn't support tap, use user instead, so we'll try user. We'll leave that as that. We'll leave the VGA as standard, sound as Sound Blaster 16, hopefully we'll be able to get some sound. Leave everything else as default. We'll go to start. And it crashes. So we'll try that one again. If we open XP2, we'll try it as a VNC connection instead. Start. And it still quits. Brilliant. So if we try lowering the RAM a bit, maybe it's too much. We'll do standard 512. Start. And it still quits. Try that as a VNC instead. No. So what we'll do is we'll lower the RAM even more. If we try 384, try it as VNC. No. Try it as SDL. 384. No. Try it with even less RAM. 256. No. So we try it. Athlon. No. No. Okay, so what we might do instead then, if this isn't like in Limbo for some reason, I might have to reinstall my version of Limbo, maybe it's that. But what we'll do for now is try it with Emulator, or however you pronounce it. So to use it in Emulator, you're going to have to take it from the SDL folder, take the image that you created, cut that. Go into the root of your SD card, you'll see a folder called Emulator. Paste it in there. Move successfully. And then go back into Emulator. Hard drive. C.img. And then we'll power that on. Could not read from the hard disk. Could not read from the boot disk. You can see at the top there, ATA0 master, ATA3 hard disk 0 bytes. Well, you can't for some reason. Sorry about that. So now you can see at the top there, it says ATA3 hard disk 0 meg. So no bootable device. So if we go back into this limbo, we can change the location to the Emulator folder. Here's limbo. Not sure if it's the RAM, or do we change that? Is that the problem? Okay, so what I'm going to do is reinstall Limbo quick and see if that fixes that. Okay, so Limbo's reinstalled. New virtual machine called XP. Leave everything else as default. Just open the hard disk image there. Change the RAM. Need at least really 256 to run Windows XP, so we'll start that, and it quits straight out. It still quit straight out, so that's very strange. Now it quits out with box as well. Ah, of course, because I moved it to the Emulator folder. Okay, so what we do is go back into ES File Explorer. And we're going to the SDL folder and we'll edit this file. Now I might have added that in myself, so we'll take that out. We'll change that down to 376. We can hash out this bit that says about ATA1. ATA0 is fine. That's fine. We change that to 0 to prevent anything. That's an Sound Blaster 16 off. Save that. Go back into box. And it still crashes. So I'm going to have a little play with this and we'll be back in a sec. Okay, so I've got it running on box now. I just had to uninstall it, delete the SDL folder completely, and then put it all back on the SD card. And yeah, it started working again. Hopefully this works a bit better than it did in any of the other programs. Showing you everything I normally use to get Windows XP or Windows in general running on Android, because some of the software like Emulator has worked for me in the past when I had an older phone that had an older version of Android. This Moto G3 I've got now is running Android Marshmallow 6.0, so some of the software is a bit finicky about running on it because it's written for like Ice Cream Sandwich version 4 and possibly Jelly Bean version 5, Kit Kat version 5, Jelly Bean was version 4.3, possibly even Ice Cream Sandwich some of this software is written for. But as you can see, we've got a mouse cursor already. So we'll just wait for the start menu to load and hopefully we can actually click it this time. It didn't seem to be, although I could move the mouse before, it didn't seem to be reacting to me tapping on the screen, so hopefully we get a bit more success this time. I apologise if this is turning into a long video, but it is quite a long process to get this up and running. So there we go, there's the XP startup splash. If it would like to hurry up now, that would be great. Check we can actually move the mouse cursor. Which I don't seem to... Oh, I can now. It looks like it's about to go into the desktop. If you heard that, that was my room odorizer, air freshener, automatic air freshener thing. It goes off once every 36 minutes or something. Oh, hurry up. Okay, so here we go. It's just about loaded the desktop. There we go. So let's try and click on that start button we can click on before. Once the leg timer is gone. Haha. So I finally remembered that it's actually the volume up key that acts as the mouse button. So what is a volume up is left click and volume down is right click. So there we go. So let's try and load up Firefox. Pretty sure I used to be able to do tap to click. I'm not sure if I've ever been able to do that on this phone. Not sure if this is just being slow loading Firefox. It looks like it's doing something. You do need to have a play with the CPU settings in boxsource.txt, boxsrc.txt, which is in the SDL folder. You'll find there's a CPU timer there. I'll show you in a second. If this is ridiculously slow, don't particularly want to close it down and start it again. Does look like it's found some sort of new hardware it's trying to install in the background, which probably doesn't help. What else we do is try and start up Deluxe Pac-Man. If this doesn't start, we might have to shut it down anyway, because I'm not sure I'm going to be able to quit out of this. Not sure how well this would work with Bluetooth keyboards or mice or anything like that. I don't think it particularly likes... I don't think it likes USB mice at all. I've tried one before and it doesn't allow you to use it. Pretty sure USB keyboard would probably work though. A lot of getting Windows XP to run on Android is just patience. Unless you've got a Galaxy S7, I'd like to see this running on a Galaxy S7 and see what it's like. It's still installing new hardware. We need to reboot, sod that. Okay, so here we go. It looks like it's doing exactly the same thing. So not even an error message that time, is there? So let's see what Doom 95 does. Wonder it'd be interesting to see if it does exactly the same thing as it did on desktop. Oh, that was my bad. I knocked my phone, my USB cable was a bit dodgy. So this is booting back up again. So here we are back at the Windows Start menu. I always seem to remember getting this bug on Windows XP on desktop. It always used to take ages after it showed before I was actually able to click on the start button. I was used to get this egg timer come up. So what I'm going to do last is just try out pinballs. That was one game that did actually work on the desktop when I was running this image on the desktop. So we'll give that a go quick. There we go, click here to begin. Press up, volume up key. Do you think we can actually do this display settings and it will make it look a little bit better? Or not, never mind, I'm not really fast. So let's try out pinball. I have actually clicked on it already, it's just not, it's just a bit slow. I'm hoping I haven't clicked on it twice now. And there we go. It's running, it looks okay. But don't seem to be able to control it. So that's a bit of a bummer. Don't seem to be able to control it. I'm not sure if maybe with a USB keyboard you might be able to control it. I don't actually have one right now to give it a go, but it all looks to be working. Unfortunately, I think I forgot to copy Quake over. I did install it, actually, so let's see if I can find it. I think it was in C drive. If my computer ever loads. But as you can see, you can load software on it. Some software does work. Whether you can control it is debatable. Whether it runs out of RAM is debatable. Some basic games will work with software rendering. You haven't got any sort of dedicated GPU, so that really isn't going to work. As you can see, it's taking, I mean, I clicked on that to adjust the display settings a few minutes ago, and it's only just loaded up. Although this is the basic box source settings, so I haven't changed any of the processor MIPS or anything to try and make it faster, but this is about as good as you're going to get out of my Moto G anyway. If I had a Galaxy S7, it might work better, but not sure what we can bump the resolution up to. Really don't want to put it too high. This screen's only 1280 by 720. So if we try 800 by 600. Yeah, that's done 800 by 600. .24-bit color. So let's OK that. See if I can get into my computer yet. As you can see by the way it's rendering my computer, it's not quick. Okay, so there's the Quake shareware folder. If we run the q95.bat, not sure if that actually started or not. Don't think it did, so let's try quake.exe. Huh, it didn't like that, did it? So let's try this Q launch. Nope, didn't like that either. It's in the ID1 folder. No. So it didn't seem to like that. With some general protection fault. Maybe I'm doing something wrong loading Quake 95. I can't remember. I haven't used it for many years. Although I'm sure that's what I run to get it working when I used it, this image on the desktop. So who knows. So what I'm going to do now is quit out of that anyway, and then we're going to load up ES File Explorer again. And we're going to go into the root of the SD card, then into the SDL folder, and we're going to edit this box source.txt. So here you can adjust how much RAM it's got. Oh, I need to edit this. So there you can adjust the amount of RAM this thing's got. There you can change the amount of CPU cores, but it's debatable if changing it is actually going to do anything. You can change this IPS number to technically make the processor be able to use more of your megahertz from one core. But I found if you change the number too high, it can make it actually run slower. So bear that in mind. You can change the chipset, the graphics card it's using, although I don't know how much support it's actually got. You can mount floppy drive images, which you just put into the SDL folder, and then you can change the name here of the floppy image. As long as it's in the SDL folder, it'll be fine. Obviously, anything that's got a hash in front of it and you want to enable it, so if you wanted to enable this floppy drive, you'd remove the hash there, change the image name, save it, and load box. I'll put that back for now, load box, and it'll have that floppy drive mounted. Here you can change the slave disk, so obviously take that hash there, which I can't quite get to by tapping it. There, take that hash out, change the name, put another disk image file into the SDL folder, rename the image to d.img, and that'll be mounted as your D drive. Here, if you take this hash out, oh, let's just do that. Oh joy, so you didn't see any of that. Brilliant. So, oh joy, so you decided to change around. That's fine. So what I was just saying was, here you can change the floppy drive, just take this hash out and that amount, A drive, B drive, make sure it's in the SDL folder as I was saying. Here you change the hard disk, so you can have two mounted at the same time. Here's where you change the CPU, so you can change that to whatever you want to try and make it quicker. Have a play around with that, have a play around with the RAM, see how much RAM you can, is the maximum you can get. Here's the disk images, make sure the hash is not there. Here's the hard disk images, make sure the hash isn't there. CD-ROM image, and obviously you can change your boot drive if you wanted to boot from CD. Change that to D or E, whatever you've got. Obviously, if you've got two disk drives, two DVDs mounted, two hard drives mounted, sorry, because you've got ATA 0 master and slave and ATA 1 master and slave. As with the standard PC IDE interface, you've got 4 devices you can connect to it. So if you've got master and slave on ATA 0 and then you've got master on ATA 1, all likelihood your DVD drive will be E drive. The floppy disks will be A and B. Kind of wouldn't play around with anything here, you don't really need to. Or the display library, obviously have a play, but change stuff back if it doesn't work, if box doesn't start up. I'm not sure if maybe you can get sound working if you install the Sound Blaster 16 compatible drivers in Windows XP. Haven't tried that yet. I wouldn't really adjust anything else. There's loads and loads of tutorials on how to edit the box source.txt for PC. It's basically the same on Android. It's just whether they've compiled support in for the Android version, so a lot of stuff might not work. You can get network card working. It's just whether you can find the driver in Windows XP to get that up and running. But I'm not actually sure if it supports networking in this compiled version of Box for Android. If you do get it working, put it in the comments. Other than that, that's about it. If you've got any questions, put them in the comments. Otherwise, have fun, see what applications you can load, and let us know.